Hello everybody, this is Aleco, and I'm back with another episode of What's the Move? Today is going to be a fun one. I'm going to try to fulfill the two most popular requests that I've been getting, the two most common ones. The first one is to try to focus on maybe some more simple plays, ones with maybe more limited choices in total. And the second one was to step through multiple plays in the same game. So what we're going to do here is start out on our turn 2, do the same What's the Move procedure that we've been doing as normal, and then step forward through the game to our turn 3, our turn 4, and our turn 5 to see how this plays out and to pause a few more times for you guys to give a chance to think about what you would have done in these scenarios yourself. This game comes from the early goings of the January season, and the deck we're going to be playing today is an Unstable Evolution Shaman deck. What this deck is looking to do is play minions that are very expensive but have the ability to be discounted, and then make them even more powerful with cards like Unstable Evolution and Thrall. It also has a Jade package in it, which is pretty standard for most Shaman decks these days, and a bit of a Overload theme going on as well. So there's a lot going on here. It's a pretty tricky deck to play, but it's also very powerful, so it definitely has some potential, especially as we go towards the late game. So I think it's fair to assume, before we go really any further, that given that we're playing a Hunter and they played Candle Shot on 1 and Hero Powered us on 2, it's pretty likely that we're going to be the control deck in this matchup. We're very likely going to want to make this game get past the mid game and into the late game, because we're probably just going to be doing much more powerful stuff than our Hunter opponent will be. This won't always be the case. They could easily be on like a Spell Hunter deck or a slower Hunter deck, but I would say in the vast majority of cases, probably safe to assume that we're the control player here. So, it's our turn 2, and we really only have 3 plays available to us right now. We can play Jade Claws, we can Hero Power, and we can coin into Farsight. So, what's the move?
I moves quickly. I wonder.
As you guys can see, I elected to go with my Hero Power this turn. The real reason I did this was because both Jade Claws and Farsight would prevent me from being able to play a 4-drop on turn 3 with the coin. What I really want to be able to do is either answer one of my opponent's threats on turn 3 with a Jade Lightning, or if I'm unable to answer their threat with the Jade Lightning, play a Flame Wreathed Faceless, which should more than likely be able to trade with whatever they're playing on turn 3. Or, if they don't really set up their board at all on turn 3, I would be playing a lot of pressure to them and forcing them to answer my 7/7. So either way, if I play the Jade Claws or the Farsight, I'm preventing myself from being able to do that. So really the only consideration for me here at all was the Hero Power, knowing that I want to be able to play a 4-drop, or at least have the potential to be able to play a 4-drop on my own turn 3. So we get a Taunt Totem, pass the turn, and our opponent plays a Bear Shark. This is a card that we're obviously not able to Jade Lightning, so we play the Flame Wreath Faceless as planned, and hopefully we'll be able to trade into the Bear Shark next turn, while the Totem is preventing 4 damage. So far so good. We pass to our opponent, and they play a Flanking Strike. This sets us up for a very interesting turn 4, because we only have 2 mana accessible right now, and we can't really trade our 7/4 very profitably into this board. If we trade into the 3/3, then they're just going to be able to Candle Shot for that last point. If we trade to the 4/3, obviously it's dying. So, once again, we're left with the choice of playing Jade Claws or playing our Hero Power, and of course we're also left with the choice of where do we attack? What do we do? So, what's the move?
I moves quickly. I wonder.
Now, hopefully you guys will be able to see why I picked this specific sequence and this specific play for this episode, because we're going to do the same thing again, and for the exact same reasons. We're going to Hero Power here and not play the Jade Claws, because what do we want to be able to do next turn? Play Volcano. If they play something like a Bittertide Hydra next turn, we're looking really great, but even if they make some simple plays, it's going to be pretty hard for them to play anything that we're not going to be able to clear up with a Volcano next turn. So with that in mind, really our only option here is Hero Power. What we're really hoping for is either a taunt totem or a healing totem, and we get a taunt totem, which is pretty nice. That's gonna at least be able to prevent some damage this turn. A healing totem would have been nice because that would enable us to be able to trade into the 3/3 and get just out of range of that candle shot, but we'll take a taunt totem here and we'll be happy about it. The other key decision that I made this turn was to attack face instead of attacking into the 3/3. I think my opponent is highly likely to use the 3/3 and a charge on their candle shot to finish off my 7/4 anyways, so it feels like attacking into the 3/3 here is just saving our opponent an attack and kind of taking 7 free damage off the board. Now our opponent could have something like a kill command, and then we're taking 3 extra damage, which is bad. We would really prefer not to be taking damage this game, but we're going to have Volcano next turn anyways, so we feel pretty confident that even if we don't make this trade right now, that we at the very least will be able to clear up the entire board next turn. So I elect to attack the face. As you guys can see, our opponent does in fact have the kill command. He uses it to finish off our Flame Wreath Faceless, and then he plays a Crackling Razor Maw, which gives Divine Shield to his 4/3 Bear Shark, which would be pretty annoying if I had to trade into it with my board, but the Volcano is going to be able to come down cleanly on turn 5, erase everything off of the board, and set me up for what should be a pretty favorable mid and late game going forward, where I have taunt minions, big stuff, removal spells, a devolve, more life, and more cards than my opponent. So what I really loved about this game was that you guys got to see me basically make the exact same decision on 2 different turns for the exact same reasons, which is that I was trying to plan ahead what I wanted to do on future turns, and I let that be the deciding factor for what I chose this turn. Now, of course, future turns will not always be the biggest consideration in every game. You know, when you're facing down tons of aggression right now, oftentimes it's better to think about the present than the future. And there will also be scenarios where it's very important to consider the past. Sometimes the cards that your opponent has already played will tell you more about what you should be doing now than the cards that are actually on the board. These concepts about past-oriented, present-oriented, and future-oriented thinking are incredibly important, especially in the sort of intermediate stage of development in your Hearthstone career, and there's something that I talked about extensively in my Legend in the Making series. So if you're interested in reading more about this topic, go ahead and check out the link below in the YouTube description so you can read my lengthy written guide over on icyveins.com, where I talk about all these fun topics and much more. That'll do it for this week's episode. I'll see you guys next week.